Welcome back to the Well Actually podcast. Thank you for listening, however, you may be listening. Please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. And of course, leave a comment letting us know where you're listening to the podcast from. We're continuing our conversation with Corey. We had to split it up into 2 episodes because we had so much to get to. So, in this episode, we're discussing our Grammy predictions and, of course, a staple of our Music Monday episodes, which is our countdowns. So, please enjoy the episode. And if you agree or disagree with some of our countdowns, go ahead and leave us a comment letting us know just how wrong we are. Enjoy the show. It's Grammy talk time. It's trying to get to the bottom of who do we think is going to win. So it's almost like prediction time. Predictions that are bound to go wrong. Like we've made some. I won't speak for you, but I'll just put it this way: there have been some hilarious predictions made on this podcast. I still don't know how it went that way, but and most notably, I was already saying that I'm sure there'll be a clip that will be attached here with the predictions, and I guess one with Essence, where I already assumed Essence won album of the year, and I thought Made in Lagos was album of the year, and my prediction was that Essence would be nominated for like either record of the year or song of the year.
It wasn't even in the stratosphere.
Bruh, even Made in Lagos didn't
I was
win.
pissed about that. I still think it should have been.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't unfounded. Let me tell you that. It wasn't unfounded. Because even hip hop heads, people like Joe Budden were like, why isn't Essence in the conversation? Yeah. We got snubbed. But that again, Matt said it that okay, maybe not this year, maybe next year. And now look, this year has come.
Well,
we were in the conversation.
Technically, so it was the 64th Grammys.
Yes.
So that was the one that was held in 2012.
Yes.
So that was, I think,
2012.
2022. Sorry, 2022.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
I was about to say, like, I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I've not been doing this podcast for that long, but yeah, so that's a good correction. But yeah, so Essence, not even Essence, Made in Lagos wasn't. Yeah. It didn't win. What they call it, the best global album. It didn't win. Yeah. Well, it was nominated. I was just operating like it had already won, and I guess that one is shame on me, because it was Angelique Kidjo that won that year.
Yeah.
And so then it was best global music performance. There was best global music album and best global music performance. So Essence didn't even win best global music performance.
Yeah.
So they didn't win. Made in Lagos didn't win. Essence didn't win.
That's not.
Yeah. And then last year, Last was nominated for best global music performance. Didn't win either.
Yeah.
So moving into this year, we have Alone by Burna Boy. That was on the Wakanda Forever soundtrack.
Yep.
And like I remember being in the theater and hearing the song. It was one of the scenes where they were in like their lab. And typically they play like a snippet or like 15 seconds or 30. They played the entire song.
They played the whole thing. I remember.
And I was like, oh wow, this is like they want to be associated with Burna in this way. Like the entire 3-minute plus of the song, they played it. And then of course Davido Feel in this category. Now, obviously there's some other
wait. So what category is this? Remind me.
So this is best global music performance.
Music.
Global music.
Yes.
So this is
that's the global nominations.
Okay. So this is the one that Essence was snubbed, and Last was snubbed the following year.
Yeah.
So I don't know how what do you want to make a prediction on that, or are you trying to save yourself from egg on your face like I've had the last couple years?
No. So best global music, I think there were like 3, because I talked about it in my podcast, and there were 3 that we kind of thought had a good chance of winning it.
No, so I think you're thinking of best African music performance. So there's so let me give the categories. Okay. So there's best global music performance, best African music performance. Best global music is It's like it's a mixture of Mexican musicians, like
Mhm.
other African, and then of course the Nigerian artists. Then
Which
on
is
best, so the Alone and Feel,
Alone
those
and
are
Feel. Okay.
yeah, those are the ones for best
Okay.
global music performance.
Okay.
Best African music performance is
Yeah,
Amapiano, Asake
that's
and
the one
Olamide,
that
City
that's the
Boys,
one that
Burna
had
Boy,
it. It was a packed crowd. It was a
Unavailable,
packed crowd.
Davido, Rush, Ira Star, and Water by Tyler.
Yes, it was a packed crowd. So
Hmm.
for global, right? Look,
Hmm.
at this point, it's anybody's guess.
Mm,
I don't know what these people are thinking in their heads.
mm.
If Essence couldn't win it, I mean, Essence wasn't even nominated, was it?
No, it was. It
It
just
was nominated,
it was
but it just
nominated,
didn't
just
win.
didn't win.
If
Yeah.
Essence didn't win it, then I can't. It's hard to predict that. I honestly, I feel like um it wouldn't be Alone. It would be Phil because I
Mm,
enjoyed Phil. Me personally, but I haven't heard the other songs. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know what the songs are. I don't know how popular those songs are in their countries. I really don't know. So it's anyone's guess. But I would take Phil over Alone. That's just me
so,
personally. Phil was the best record on Davido's album, in my opinion. And I would take
oh
Phil.
really?
And yeah, in my opinion, it was the best record on Davido's album. And it was better than Alone. So
Mm.
I would pick Phil just off of what I know, what I've listened to. I haven't listened to the others, so take that into consideration. Now, the African music, that's the
Wait,
one that's
before we move on to that, the same way we've had Essence snubbed and we've had Last snubbed, I
mhm,
feel like Davido and Burna are going to get snubbed here because
there's a
there's
good
an
chance.
African music performance category. So they
So
might,
you think they'll split hairs and they'll
yeah,
say, okay, let's just let's try to
yeah,
let's try to appease to some of the other
the
global artists.
yeah, because the like there's like Mexicana album, there's Latin
Mhm.
rock alternative album, but all those ones they're all album related. So this is the
Okay.
only like for a single. This is the or for a record. This is the only
Mhm.
one where they are just throwing the rest of the world in the mix
Okay.
and for a performance. And I
Mhm.
feel like since African music has its own performance award,
Yeah.
they might be
Yeah.
like, okay, at least we've nominated you with the rest of the world here.
It's possible. It's possible.
So I mean,
They
if
always play
Essence
those
and
politics.
but because think about it, like if we are doing like top 10 Afrobeats exports
Mhm.
ever,
Yeah.
sure, Calm Down will be there, but Last and Essence will be on that list of top 10 Afrobeat exports ever.
Yeah.
And those ones didn't get those ones didn't
Yeah.
get that Grammy.
Yeah,
So
and with the Grammy, it hasn't always been about popular music.
yeah, it
It's a
might
mix
just be
of like politics and who you know, and the people in the Grammy, the ones that are actually voting. It's people
mm,
that they've been exposed to time and time again, which is why Angelique Kidjo was always winning in these random
yeah.
categories of songs that we like the youth hadn't really heard or listened to. But she has a much long standing relationship with Grammy members, so these things happen. So I'm not gonna speculate too much on the global music. Me
Mm,
personally, I would give it to Phil just because that's the only song that I would rate above Alone.
okay.
But you know,
All right. So now
it's hard to
Best
tell.
African music performance. Amapiano,
Best
City
African music,
Boys,
yes,
Unavailable, Rush,
yes,
Water.
yes. Um, I think Era, she did her thing, but this is her first, you know, this is her first time she's wading into the Grammy waters. So this is
Mm.
more of like a we see you like appearance fee kind of thing.
Mhm.
I don't think I don't think that's gonna win.
Mm.
I don't think Amapiano is gonna win either. I
Okay.
don't think so. I think it's gonna be between and one was the one that pointed this out to me, and I agree with him. Tyler's Water,
Mm.
because Tyler, she got she got the woman card. I mean, the song is popular. I can't stand the song, but it's really, really popular. Even though it's not all about
196 million on Spotify.
even though it's not all about popularity, but people really enjoy that song. And it's got like a soulful vibe to it. Make me say like I've been hearing different versions of it. of like R&B twist on it. Tyler's Water, Davido's Feel, because Davido has, sorry,
No, but no, unavailable.
Davido's
Unavailable.
unavailable, because that was also like that was a crowd favorite.
He
It
performed
was
that at the
very
BET Awards.
it went very viral. It people enjoyed that record. And then Burna Boy's City Boy. If I was to predict, just based off of like, levels, like off of who has had more history with the Grammys, because these things you have to take into account. Who has done the dance before? Burna has done the dance twice. He did it with that album. He did it with the other album, Love That Me. He's doing it with this album. So this is third showing at the Grammys. So they know him already. Off of familiarity, I would predict that City Boys would win. Off of familiarity. But off of politics. And sometimes Grammy, they like to have this underdog story, right? The person that no one is quite sure, don't really know of. I think that person is Tyler. I think Tyler can win off of
So
Water.
you think
Like, if there's going to be like a surprise for that, it's going to be Tyler. I don't think it's going to be Davido. I think it's going to be Tyler. So I think it's going to be between Tyler's Water. I think City Boys, Burna's City Boy. But if I was to pick one, I would say City Boy would win. Just off of, I've been here before, give me my flowers kind of thing. Like, I've been there, like, this is my third time now, man. I'm knocking. I've done the dance. I think City Boy would win. But if there's going to be a surprise in that category, I think it would be Tyler's Water. Just because, people love that song, man. People love. You can imagine the Grammy people that do the Grammy voting. They would like that song. The women on there would like that song. It's I would call it a twerking song, but it has like its own challenge of people.
It did.
It's people, girls love it, man, and that counts too. That counts for a lot these days. It counts. It counts. Things that appeal to the girls, it counts. And I've been seeing they really paired up with Travis. They made a remix of Water.
Travis Scott.
You know this? Yeah. There's a remix with Travis. So they might want her to perform that at the Grammys too.
At least I'm kind of with Travis.
Who knows? But with Grammys, they always do all these collaboration performances. That's very common at the Grammys. They bring someone else. I also feel like they're doing the same thing with Lonely at the Top with her.
Okay.
ATR.
Well, at least that one it's vocally inclined. It's not.
It is.
It's not. So it's the type of thing where they can just both sit down and do it.
It is. And I actually loved that version too. I loved her version. I liked how she came on the record. I think she complimented it well. It didn't feel forced. I enjoy that Lonely at the Top. But in regards to this African music, I think most likely City Boys will take it.
Okay. So I know you mentioned Angelique Kidjo. So she has 14 nominations in total and has won 5 times. Yeah. Well, but she's not nominated this year. I guess she was taking a year off.
Yeah.
So 14 nominations in total, 5 wins. So amongst like the contemporary artists, Afrobeat artists, Burna has 10 nominations with 1 win, including the other nomination that he got was for melodic rap performance. That's the one with 21 Savage.
That's where we're now in some of the mainstream categories, sitting on top of the world. Finally, we got recognition outside of our global African nominations. I thought that was very significant. I thought that I think that's a leap. That's a step.
Yeah, and
we're making some progress.
With an Afrobeats artist as the lead artist, because last year, Thames won this with "Wait for You" with Future.
Yes.
So that was
Yes,
how
he did.
Thames got. So
He did.
Thames has 5 nominations
Yes.
in total, and
Mhm.
I guess one of them is also like songwriting for that "Lift Me Up,"
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
Wizkid has 4 nominations. He has
Mhm.
won one
Mhm.
for Brown Skin Girl.
Brown skin. Yeah.
Yeah, Davido has 3 nominations, hasn't won one yet.
Yeah.
Olamide,
These nominations are his first nominations.
so he has
Davido.
two.
Oh, he had before.
No, all 3 this year. It
Yeah.
looks like,
Yeah.
yeah, all
This
3
year.
this year. Yeah.
Which is
So
why I'm not. I'm rooting for him, but I don't think. I think the chances are not as high because again, I'm telling you, they really look at the seniority thing within the Grammys. Unless sometimes they just want to shock us with like the new artist and then they
yeah,
give the
like
new artist everything. And it happens. It happened with Lauryn Hill,
I was
you
about to
know.
say, yeah.
So
Okay. Yeah. So you're saying like him Burna getting nominated for best melodic rap performance
I think
is like the
that
next
was
frontier.
significant. It is. It is. Because that means now we're on the same stage. The next if we can get into that category, then we can get into record of the year, song of the year. We're not there yet. We're not there yet, but we can get there. Like we're already we're on the path. We're no longer in the global nominations. We're
So but
now
let me push back on that a little bit. Isn't
okay.
it just that the reason why like he's there for that is because they are considering his song a rap song. It's
Yes.
like there it's so it wouldn't qualify for an Afrobeats uh category.
No, it wouldn't. But he's still
Yeah.
an Afrobeat artist, and you know the
Yeah.
way they look at these things. They look at you as this is your bread and butter.
Hmm.
So I think he's still an Afrobeat artist. And yes, you're
Right.
right. Technically, that song was really more like R&B, hip hop type
Right.
song. I mean, he's an Afrobeat artist, and in the song he's still speaking pidgin. So he's
Right.
still very influenced by Afrobeat. He's still speaking in our native, languages. So I think yes, you're right.
Mhm.
Technically, it's considered for them. It's considered an R&B. Sorry, one second. Let me connect my. I think it's connected so that doesn't die off on me. All right, there you go.
Gotcha.
Even though technically yes, but I think he's still an Afrobeat artist, and the fact that he was nominated, I think it gives other Afrobeat artists a path to be able
Gotcha.
to kind of get. And look, don't get me wrong. It's not the be all and end all to be nominated. It's a good thing, but I think like we as Afrobeat consumers, we can still build our own awards and like we can do this on our own where it's like we know that it's accurate, we know that okay, we're the ones that are listening to it, we're the ones selecting the winners. We can do that, and I think we should still work towards that. I don't
I
think we
mean,
should.
there are award ceremonies that,
There
but
are
one
there
thing
are
is, no matter who wins, they just sort of poo-poo it anyway. Like, I
They
guess
do.
the prestige lasts as long as the award ceremony lasts. As soon as it's over, it's forgotten.
Yes, but and
And
that's why we need more people to start tuning into those, like the Headies Awards. We
right.
need more people to start investing into them. And we're seeing growth within those spaces too. We're still a very relatively young genre compared to some of the genres that have been around for decades and decades. So
Right.
we're getting there. But I want us to get to the point where we can have our own type of like BET type awards. And I'm not saying that necessarily say that has to be like an American award. I'm just saying I feel like if Headies can get to that point, and I think it's getting there. The last Headies award they had uh, this BET guy hosted.
Terrence J.
So Terrence J. So it's like we're slowly starting to kind of get our shit together. And even though we may not be as big as the Grammys, but we could have our own institutions that give the real credibility. Like the kind of thing where if you win this award, then Grammys will start looking at that award like, oh, well, he won this award. Kind of like the way they do with the Emmys and the Golden Globes and those shows where it's like, what's the Emmys, Golden Globes? When once start recognizing movies, the Oscars are more
Oscars.
likely to be like, okay, let's take a look at this movie. And I think we could learn that credence. I think if we can build our platforms, that's part of what my Smile Suffer podcast is about. Is just really just trying to nurture the culture of Afrobeat and like trying to define what it is. It's always going to change, but really bringing context to it, explaining it to people, breaking down the songs, breaking down the music, the genres, the differences between this genre and other genres. I think it's important. And I think we're getting there. We're seeing more and more Afrobeat podcasts. We're seeing more and more recognition of Afrobeats across the globe. So,
okay, no, that's it's good that you plugged it, because I know, like, Smile Suffer, you guys do a lot of deep dives into, like, you have macro discussions on Afrobeat, but then you have micro where you're giving a lot of attention to specific facets of Afrobeat, where you don't want it being treated like a monolith, like, oh, every single person is doing exactly the same thing. So you guys over there give it a lot of attention that the genre truly deserves. So that was important for you to mention. So now the moment you've all been waiting for, Mr. Rap Cat is going to give us his top 10 Afrobeat songs of the year. And before anyone tries to come in with corrections, our year date, like the start date, is essentially since the last Monday, Music Monday. So that's November 2022. So anything that was on Mr. Money with the Vibe is not eligible. So don't say, oh, what happened to Terminator or Organize or Peace Be Unto You or Joha or Sungba Remix.
Work of Art is the only
Work of Art is the one that, or someone I say, what about Soweto? That came out May last year.
Yeah,
Abracadabra.
It's funny. I actually looked up that song too. I had to make sure, because I'm like, Soweto was it jam?
Was it jam?
But then I saw that it didn't make the cutoff.
Yeah,
so,
Abracadabra. Abi King Rex. That was March
2022.
So like, because I know people are going to be in the comments. In fact, matter of fact, if you're watching this, leave in the comment. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Give us your top 10 in the comments.
Yes.
Let's hear what you have to say.
Let's hear it.
How it lines up with what we're hearing here. So you said you had some honorable mentions, some outside looking in.
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
All right, outside looking in, some honorable mentions. And so the way I constructed this list was, I felt like you had to have at least had a top 10 or top 5 song on the Apple Music Nigeria 100 list chart. Even though, yes, we understand that, yes, sometimes those get manipulated by streaming farms. I understand that. But at least to be in the conversation, you had to at least get to be up there. Okay. So there are some of these songs that were my favorites, but because I knew that they didn't necessarily have staying power in the top 10 list, I had to put them as honorable mentions. So the first one I'll mention here is Thames, Me and You.
Okay. I mean, that's also fairly new. Yeah.
It's fairly new. Yeah. It's fairly new. But I feel like that's a record it's being slept on right now. And I've been hard on Thames. I've been the one talking about, because I love Thames, right? I've always listened to music from the get-go. Since Why You Wanna Try Me? I've listened to a song since then. We've been showcasing her talent since then, her unique voice.
Right.
But she took this long hiatus.
Oh, she did.
Right? She wasn't dropping records. She was kind of relying on her past glory, on these records that Americans love. But because Americans keep rediscovering these records, and they keep staying on the Billboard Afrobeat charts, it's kind of kept her up there, and she's been able to do shows, and I'm happy for her. But I just feel like, come on, man, you're an artist, man. You need to be ready to compete with all these other artists that are coming out. The Ashake has dropped 2 albums since last time you dropped 2 albums. Come on, now.
You can't compare anybody to Ashake in that regard. That dude was putting out a new song every 8 days. It didn't matter.
I mean, he was putting out work, but I like to see that productivity, and I hadn't been in Thames. So I've been very critical of Thames, but this is Me and You record. I love it, man. Initially I was like, what's this? But then I kept listening to it, and I'm like, this is such a positive, Like if you're someone that you have someone that you love, someone that you're like your ride or die, this song goes well with that. Only me and you, and the beat drops, and you're just like, this is it. That's a solid record, and I don't think it's I don't think it's getting enough attention right now. So I wanted to mention that. I love that record. I really love it.
Gotcha.
Another record that I wanted to mention was Jail. This
Hmm.
record was by this cat that's under um Davido's record label, DW. It was supposed to
Okay.
be like one of his first artists that he was supposed to showcase.
Okay.
But the record, he came out with this video, and um the video was kind of controversial. His name is Logos Olori.
Hmm.
In the video, his first video, he is sitting on the roof of a mosque, and he has this
Oh,
blowhorn.
okay. Okay.
And
I think I remember the
like
controversy. Yeah.
Muslims in Nigeria, like that was disrespectful. So he had to like pull the video. Like it messed up the entire rollout of the
Mm,
song. But it
mm,
was such a good song. Like it was such a bop. So it didn't have a chance to really like blow like it should have. They had to pull the video down. Like people were sending him death threats because they felt like he was disrespecting Allah. Yes, because
wow.
he was doing it at the mosque, and people were dancing in front of the mosque. I'm like, this was such a good feel record. I like the wording of the song, and he sings it in Yoruba, so I understand what
Mm,
he's saying, and he's just talking about his come up. You know, he went from being a talaka to having money. Talaka is like a poor person, and he's just talking about his come up story. And there's just something about it that's so uplifting, but they stepped on it. Internet people, they weren't trying to have it. But this
mm.
is another honorable mention of mine, Jaye Law.
Gotcha.
Another one is Ngozi. And this
Okay.
Ngozi, I'm putting Ngozi because it should have been in the top 10, but
I'm surprised. I'm
it probably ended up
surprised.
being 11. It's the record that I'll say was probably 11. Like,
Okay.
I'm telling you, it could have gone either way. This
Okay.
Ngozi record is amazing, man.
It
It's
is. And that's
amazing.
Crayon and Ira Star.
Era Star, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the melodies, and again, it's just like I hear Rema in it, and the way he's like, the way he put the rhyme structure together. You're the Fungazi, the Fungazi, find love me. Like it's just a really beautiful record. I love the record. So that's another honorable mention. And the last one that I have here, and I checked, I made sure.
Mm.
234 plus 234. It's
Plus two,
this
three, four.
song, yeah, plus 234. You may not have heard it, but it's this song by he's the same one
Shay
that
vibes.
sang Shady Vibes. I don't know if you heard it, but this
I,
song, this was, it was the
yeah,
song that
I'm just
made
not
me.
a Shay vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People compare him to Ashake all the time. The people say he's like a
Off brand Ashake.
he's like a bootleg version of
I
Ashake.
mm,
But I'm telling you, there's something about this guy. He's like real Fuji, and
mm,
he's fusing Fuji. Like he's a Fuji artist, but
okay.
he's fusing it with hip hop, Afrobeats, and there's something about it that's very very unique. Yes, you can. I can only listen to him for so long because of
Mm.
the auto tune. It's auto tuning is just
Yes.
like it gets old. But I'm telling you, this record, this plus 234. It was an album that dropped in late 2022. I think it was like December 2022. But this was the standout record of that, and I wanted to give him his flowers because Shady
That was
Vibes. I'm
the
telling
Man
you,
of the Year album.
yeah, I think it was I think so. I
Okay.
think so. It might have been
Oh,
Shady
oh, oh,
Vibes. It
to
was
vibe to Thy Kingdom Come.
sorry. It was Thy Kingdom Come. Oh
Okay.
wait, no. It wasn't that. It
Because
wasn't Thy Kingdom
he
Come.
has two. He had vibe to Thy Kingdom Come and then Thy Kingdom Come.
No, it was big. It was Billion Dollar Baby 2.0.
Oh, wow.
Billion
Okay.
Dollar. And he released it late 2022, December
Gotcha.
2022. And
Okay.
plus 234 was the record that I started understanding. Oh, this guy has some melodies, man. Very interesting melodies.
Okay.
and his Fuji vibe that he adds to it is awesome. I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
Okay.
So that's my honorable mentions. So let's
Okay.
get into the top 10.
So let's get into the top 10.
Top 10.
And this one will be scrutinized.
It will be. It will be.
All right.
So
Go ahead.
number 10. I have Amapiano.
Okay.
Which is interesting because people might be thinking that's a low rating, but look, there were only 3 artists that had 2 records on this top 10. Only 3 artists. And it's
Okay.
indicative of some of the artists that worked the hardest in 2023.
Okay.
It's indicative. There were only 3 artists that had that. And Ashake had to be one of them.
So this is
Because he had worked so hard.
Ashake
So
featuring
Amapiano,
Olamide.
Amapiano is a big vibe. All the girls them know. Not only did he took Amapiano sound, right? He snatched that shit from the South Africans. He was like, I'm gonna take this song, I'm gonna name it Amapiano. Like there was something really, really assholeish about it, but I loved it.
Yes,
I loved it.
It's on par. It's on par with the Nigerian arrogance. Yeah.
So if anyone is curious about the Amapiano genre now and goes on Apple Music or
just
Spotify, types in Amapiano, that's the first song that comes on, and it's a Nigerian artist, and I'm like, yes, I loved it. So yes, Amapiano is a big vibe. There's a version of it on YouTube. Man, that's the thing about Ashake. Like, it's one thing to listen to the original version, is another thing to listen to him live. I've been to an Ashake concert. This guy is talented. This guy has melodies. Like, this guy will sing the same song that you've been singing this whole time, and he'll put a new twist on it, and he'll add new harmonies on it. And he did that on this. It's called Control on YouTube. Look it up.
Okay.
Amapiano Control version on YouTube. Like, he gave it another twist. That same Amapiano song, it was a little bit more a cappella-ish side. But it's a dope record, man. Olamide came in, he did his thing. I mean, it was like, remember that song with Olamide, the first record that he released with Olamide, Omope? They just recreated that, but then they really stamp on this Amapiano sound. Yes, it's the South Africans that own the genre. No, don't let's try to steal it from them. But I loved his version of it, and I love that he put his sound on it. Especially given that this was how he really blew up. It was he took the Amapiano vibe and he gave it to Niger. He threw some Niger spice on it. So Amapiano, number 10.
Okay.
Number 9. So this is where it gets harder, man. It gets harder. It gets harder to categorize these. Number 9, I'm gonna have Holy Ghost by Omale. I think it's a dope record. I think it's a dope record.
It performed really well on the charts. Like this one doesn't seem to be any kind of payola, no kind of like there's a lot of enthusiasm when Omale drops. Yeah, I can't say I'm the biggest Omale fan, but yeah, I mean, it wasn't on my list, but that's because I don't listen to him. So
Holy Ghost, and the reason why he's so low on the list is because it still came out recently, so we haven't even had the time to digest it. But I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be caught lacking a year from now, and I know. Like, I'm confident that Holy Ghost is going to do numbers. Like, it's already doing numbers. It's already like it's charting.
Yeah, it came out 2 weeks ago, and it's been number 1. I think it was number 1 last week.
It's a record. This is so part 2. So take my pain away. Oh, this song goes, and initially I didn't get it, but then I listened to it a couple times, and then it stuck in my head. So Holy Ghost, Omale, he's still got a stamp on the Afrobeat market. Like, they call it emo Afrobeat. He has his own niche, so I had to represent for that side of Afrobeat. Gotcha. Holy Ghost, I think, is a big record. Number 8. I have a Burna Boy record, Big 7.
Really?
Big 7. Big 7.
Okay.
You're not crazy about it.
So,
First
uh,
of all, rest in peace, Virgil Abloh. Look. You're not look. We're not going to see eye to eye on this clearly because Big Seven. What? You don't
so,
rate it?
so I have to make a confession.
Yeah.
I have not listened to a Burna Boy album since African Giant.
Really?
Yeah,
You don't mess with Burna Boy.
I don't have the bandwidth for Burna Boy right now.
Interesting. Why is that?
I maybe it's being pretentious, maybe it's principle. I don't know. I just
It,
I like to enjoy
mhm,
the music and like
mhm,
without being encumbered by the baggage of the person. So there are artists I just stopped listening to, whether
mhm.
it's legal stuff or just personal stuff. I'm just like, I
Okay.
can't do this. So like, but I will say this, in my opinion. So this is the thing that I've said to people when it comes to Burna Boy. Uh, I believe that On the Low is the best song created by anybody with Nigerian blood. So that is including the guy from Lighthouse Family, Sade
Mhm,
Adu, Tyler
mhm.
the Creator. I believe On the Low is that's how good I believe that song is.
Yeah,
However,
that's a good record. Mhm.
I just the last like I think last was the only song I listened to on that album.
Okay.
So then the album I'm not even sure how long ago that was. I didn't listen to Twice as Tall. I didn't listen to I guess this recent one. What was that one? I told them.
Love Danny. Okay, I told them is the
I
new
told
one.
them
I
the
told
most
them.
personal. I've not listened to a second of it. So
Oh wow.
except
City
for
Boy. You've
City
heard
Boys,
City Boy, right?
except for
Okay.
City Boys, and the first time I heard it was at a party. It's not like I don't. It's not in any of my playlists.
Okay. Fair
So
enough.
like that's just me. And again, when I'm saying these things, I'm not telling anybody to join me in my no. That's just a personal thing. Just maybe I'll feel differently tomorrow, but the last 2-3 years, that's I've just so
Fair enough.
when it comes to Burner, I don't think of Big Seven as that song. I would have thought
Okay.
City Boys, but maybe it's in somewhere in
I
later
mean,
in
the
the list.
list is not complete.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm
It's
saying.
not
So maybe it's,
complete.
but I just don't see Big Seven. Like I would even see the sitting on top of the world song, even though I despise it.
Yeah, I don't
I
like
think it set
sitting
us
on top
back.
of the world.
I
I don't
think
like
it
sitting on
set us
top of the
back.
world. I
I don't know,
felt I
but
felt like the reason why I put Big Seven on this list is that I felt
mm,
like it was. I mean, what a way to come out with a record, and
mm,
he was making a statement in that record. He was trying to he gave his he was pretty much was like an ode to the hip hop gods. Like, look, this is what I grew up on. This and
yeah,
you think about it.
but does that make it the best one of the top 10 Afrobeat songs though?
Um, I think the impact he's had this year, right? If you were to name songs that he's done this year,
Mm-hmm.
Big Seven was the first one that got people looking like. I think it was like one of the first ones that got a lot of people outside of Afrobeat, like a lot of like the hip hop heads.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong, he also did that with Last Last because he used Tony Braxton's, record. But Big Seven, he didn't. It wasn't necessarily sampling any particular record, but it was almost like he was trying to just show himself, like
Okay,
this is who I am.
gotcha.
And it took me back to one of his first hit records, "Like to Party,"
Mm-hmm.
where he also sampled hip hop record. Well, yeah, he kind of had. He came with this hip hop like background.
Okay.
Like that, they like to party and feel some. Like he pretty much like sampled a lot of the hip hop styles. I felt like Big Seven did that in a big way. He
Gotcha.
didn't necessarily sample a song, but the record itself, like he came out, he first started out Virgil Abloh, so that's our fellow African brother, and he was just trying to it was like he was just trying to prove himself, like this is what I do. Even the video, you had graffiti all over the wall. It looked like it was in New York or New Jersey or one of these places. Like this was like him saying, like, look, I love this. Like this is what I do. And he fused his own style with hip hop. Like he was rapping on that record. He was rapping,
Okay.
and I felt like it kind of attention that record got, it almost like it made City Boy easier to come in and like just kill the show.
Okay.
And that's what Big Seven did. It was almost like, okay, I'm about to do this alternative, this different thing. And I feel like I told them in itself, the whole album is like a hip hop record. So, and I felt like also given that Burna Boy has been one of the most hardworking Afrobeat artists in the last year.
I
felt like
can't
he
dispute
deserved
that at all.
I felt like he deserved at least 2 records on here, and this is the first record.
Okay.
This is the first record of those 2.
So,
It was either that or Taliban.
if you don't,
Part 2.
it's okay.
But
Big Seven is
but
okay.
Taliban Part 2 was not originally his. So I was
Mhm.
although I also want to point out that the Big Seven thing is also kind of toxic because he's talking. You know what he's talking about when he talks about Big Seven, right?
No, I have no idea.
Big Seven is like the symbol of the axe cult in Nigeria.
Oh, Akedudu.
So yes. So I don't know if it's I think it's called something else.
Black Axe.
Black Axe.
Yeah, that's Akedudu now.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, they call it. I didn't know they call it Akedudu. I know it as Black Axe.
Mhm.
It's a cult. It's a cult. And Big Seven is like a shout out to that. So
I was not aware.
That in itself is kind of like a toxic thing, but I feel like Burna has been rolling in these crowds, and he's always shouted them out. Him and Davido, they like the word on the street is that they kind of have like the backing of these cults.
Oh.
And these, they kind of pushed him there. A lot of these people have put money in him. That's allegedly. I don't know if it's true, but I have to point that out. That's the one thing. That's the only thing I like about the record is the fact that but yeah, they're still kind of like, giving an ode to this cult. Big Seven acts. We know what it means, but he tried to like kind of cover that up with the whole hip hop sound. So what number was that?
All right, so that was number 8. So now number 7 is
number 7 is Charm.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's Mr. Remy Boy.
Yeah. It's Charm.
Okay.
Come and make it audio. and it was off of the deluxe version of the album, the Graves and Roses album, one that had Countdown.
Okay.
So I want to point that out. But it was the deluxe version, and the deluxe version had the newer songs. And Charm was one of those new songs.
Yeah, Graves and Roses Ultra.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I want to point that out. It wasn't a 2022 song, even though Graves and Roses came out in 2022, but this was like a reload. And Charm was the song that everyone knows it. Once that song comes on at his concert, you hear everyone singing it. I mean, there's really not much to be explained there. It's a dope record. It's the vibe is, and again, this is another one of those people that has 2 songs on this list.
Oh, okay.
Hence, that's why Charm is here.
Oh, so I feel like there's some people that on my list here that are going to get left off. All right.
Probably.
All right. So number 6.
7. Number 6. I'm going to go with Troublemaker. Also by Rema.
Really?
Yeah. You have it on your list?
No.
You don't have it on your list?
No. That was not my Rema.
And I put it on the list because I think it's the best record on this new EP that he put out. I love it.
That's the thing. I could understand doing that with Holy Ghost of not wanting to get caught out, not having it on your list. But well, it's your list. Remember to send the I won't call it hate mail, but forward all your complaints to, because that came out last month.
Yes.
So
yes. I think it's even better than Charm. I like this record, and he released the video too, right?
Yeah. Like I said, my wife
is
was
one of the
binging.
lead singles.
Yeah, she was binging Rema contents the whole day.
I think this record is so dope. I think it's so dope. I think even like when you listen to the wordings of the record, I think like this guy is when it comes to writing, man, like this guy is at the top of his game. I think this was like the 8 for him. I tell you, 6 is I think that's not even being charitable enough. Honestly, it was hard. It was hard to come up with this list. But I put him there because, and I put Troublemaker that low only because the song hasn't been out that long, but because I know how dope that record is. There's a bit of projection on that record. Is that I know it's going to
but Troublemaker like even though Holy Ghost just came out, Troublemaker hasn't hit the heights that Holy Ghost has.
It hasn't, but you're looking short term here. I mean, these things happen all the time where a record will do really well, and then a record that has been out a little bit longer would come back up on the chart. It happened with Lonely at the Top. It happened.
But even from even from this EP, D&D is charting higher than Troublemaker.
I know. I think this is my list. And Troublemaker was also on top of the charts. It was one of the records that were up there. This to me is the best record on this album, on this EP. It's the best record on this EP.
Remember, this is from November of last year.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Number 5.
So that's number 5. Number 5. Gwagwalada.
Okay.
I checked. Don't worry.
No, I have it here. That's why I'm like
Gwagwalada.
And this is by.
It's three artists on it. It's
Benson, Kiss Daniel, and Shay Vibes.
And Shay Vibes. And this record was a jam this year. It was a jam. When they played this, I mean, it made Abuja look cool. I mean, Abuja is already cool. Don't get me wrong, but I'm like, I need to go to this Gwagwalada place and smoke hookah to understand what's going on here. Like, it seemed like a whole vibe. I meant to Gwagwalada. No, I mean, and then all of them delivered. That was what made it so powerful. All of them delivered. This is like ever since, right? Benson doesn't want to do three person because he doesn't want to share the glory again.
Really?
But that is probably his biggest record in the last year. Let's be honest.
I thought you were gonna say biggest record ever, but no.
Okay. In the last year, in the last year, and he had to share that spotlight with two other artists.
So he said he's not doing Three-Headed Monsters again.
I don't think he's trying to do Three-Headed Monsters. So he had Black Bones remove him off of a record. That was on his album.
Wow.
Just because I guess he was just tired of it. Gwagwalada, that was that record. It was that record. That record went. So that's 5, right?
Yeah. So now you're down to number 4. So before you get to number 4, 2, 3, 4. So I have 7 songs left that I had in my top 10.
That are not.
That haven't been. So that means 3 of these are going to get left out.
Yes.
And they weren't even mentioned. They weren't even mentioned in your honorable mention. So, all right, go ahead.
Okay. Number 4, Feel.
Okay.
Davido's Feel. Then go Feel It. I put that there instead of Unavailable. I thought that Unavailable was a trendy track. I get it. It had dance step, but I feel like that was also part of what made people like it. And that was another one of the criteria that I had for this list. Is I didn't want to necessarily pick things that were only popular because of a dance or something. And that's not to say that a song being associated with the dance was a bad thing, though. A song can still be really good. It is. But then there's something gimmicky about when there's a whole dance that comes with it. And honestly, personally, I felt like Feel was the best record on that album. Then go Feel It, then go Hold It Down. I mean, when that song comes on,
remember, but Corey, remember, you did say there are 3 artists on this list that will have 2 songs.
Yes, I've already mentioned one of them.
Yes, Rema. I know Rema, right? So just by virtue of Feel being a better record than Unavailable, doesn't mean Unavailable can't be in the top 10 song.
No, it doesn't mean it can't be in the top 10 song. Me personally, I wasn't that crazy. I felt like Unavailable was It was like really poppy. It had the dance step. It was gimmicky, and even the structure of the song itself, even like the title of the song, I'm unavailable. It was just something about it that it didn't really it felt like one of those songs that someone had gone together, had gone to a studio to cook up and like was chasing that popular and while they were making the song, they were thinking of a dance in mind. It was too calculated. And I got tired of it very quickly. I feel like it's like very, very, and then the video came out too. I'm just like, it was busy. It was a lot going on in the video.
Yeah,
It was,
I up to now I still don't know what the temperature was where they were because
I don't
because
know.
he's
I don't
like
know
wearing
what
a bubble
country.
jacket and shorts
I'm like, are we in
and
Congo? Are we in,
there.
like, what's going on?
Yeah,
I didn't get it.
yeah,
But obviously, people love the record. But I felt
mhm.
like Feel was the best track, and I felt like he needed to be included on there. And I felt like Feel was really that good. It was
Okay.
it was really really dope track. It was the best track of the album, timeless album. Everyone loved it.
I
And I feel like
yeah. Yeah, before
Feel
we
was
get
the
to your
best
top
record.
three, I have to say that in all the lists you've made, this is the one I've disagreed with the most.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, okay. All
So
right, now,
number three,
so this is the top three now. Top
yeah,
three tracks for
yeah,
2023. Go ahead.
yes, City Boy,
Okay. All right.
number three.
City Boys.
I
All
mean,
right.
I
Okay.
don't even need to justify it. I mean, it's the life of the city boy. I mean, it's like, guys, that song comes on and everyone's, again. It wasn't. I don't think when he was doing the stomping thing, I don't think he necessarily was doing it to create a dance or like a trend out of it. It
Mhm.
was the first clip that he put out there, and the beat itself had that stomp, and it was so organic.
That doesn't that you can't say it feels organic when the beat stomp is in the song itself. It's almost like it's prompting you to do it. It's you can't
It
say
is.
unavailable is gimmicky, and this one when there's like inserts crowd movement here into the song itself, where it's like
No, but
there's a
but but stomps have always been part of like beat patterns. People have always used stomps as, that's not like necessarily out of
yeah,
the
yeah,
ordinary.
and people
It
have been
just it just
dancing
so
to
happened that,
songs too.
but like who would really think, oh, we're going to create a dance where people stop? I think it just came about in the studio
Okay.
where it was like, okay, we're gonna let the beat drop, and instead of using like a regular like 808 or whatever, we're gonna do a stomp sound,
Mhm.
boom, and that was how they
Mhm.
did
Mhm.
the beat drop. And then he
Mhm.
released that clip
Mhm.
where they were all in the Timberland boots, and I think everyone connected to it. Like you see him in his Timberland boots, in his fubu, in all this hip hop gear. People of my generation probably related to that instantly. It was like
Mhm.
Timberland boots, you're on the block. Those are things that we imagine, like
Mhm.
as people that live in Nigeria. We're thinking we're on the block. We're thinking we're like part of like the hip hop culture or whatever. Though,
Mhm.
like even the way he's dressed, that was how we would dress back in high school. Like
Right.
baggy pants. I
Right.
think people just resonated with it. And that song, it was an anthem for the guys then. I loved it. I like even the intro with Jay Huss, where he's talking about, I'm a sexy youth. Like everything just blended. The whole record was dope. That's my
I'll
number
just
three.
I'll just say the stomping. Kirk Franklin did it first, so don't
Yeah,
worry.
he did. He sure did. He sure did.
He did it first.
He sure
All
did.
right, number
Number two
two.
record.
Hmm.
Hmm, hmm.
Hmm.
Number two, Blood on the Dance Floor.
Okay. All right.
That's so
Okay.
I think I tweeted this recently.
And
I'm
this
like,
is by who?
your boy, your boy, Odum the Black. So I like,
Yeah.
I don't even know what that thing is, but
Yeah,
I think
and the
it's so
Black Sheep for
cool.
Life. Yeah.
Black
Uh-huh.
people life, Black people forever. Like, Odum the Black. Why do you want to cause like why do you want to cause more? Put them on the drop top, Columbia their own, put them on the cross tour, like that record. And the funny thing is, it's actually is a sick record. Like he's talking about running up on somebody on that
So
record.
I
Like
would so I
we're
was
running up on
bruh.
you, but the melodies, like it
It
distills it so
disguises
much.
it.
It,
It
it
disguises.
disguises it. He brings in Bloody Civilian. He brings in her vocals. Like you don't even know you're singing to like a stomp
Yeah,
a
yeah,
dude anthem. Like
yeah. Mm-hmm.
they're running up on someone.
Yeah, yeah.
They're
This is
running up
like
on, so it's a very
melodic
gangster
anti
record.
up. Yeah, it's basically anti up.
Very gangster record, but it was done so well. I always say that they're like the only two songs. The first song is number one. Second song is this song. Two
Okay.
songs this year has made me anytime the song comes on, like even the beat, bing, 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 bing. Like they're using some of the like high life. They kind of like threw some of that high life, you know, strings in there. It is such a rich record. And the video when it dropped it, I think it's such a dope record. And this is like more like a personal favorite of mine. A lot of people may not have this song at number two, but I personally feel like this song is the real number two. It opened up a new kind of like lane for what the hip hop Nigerian artist could be. What he did was so he wasn't like rapidly rapid. He was repeating the same thing over and over. He was repeating it over and over. It was like a chant. But that stuff was so you know the color my color like this and that. I'm dressed in black. Like it like and I thought that was one of the genius things about the song, the way it was able to mesh such a kind of like a street violence, message, but kind of like make it palatable to listen to and enjoying the sound. When I'm listening, I'm not even necessarily listening for the wordings. I'm just listening for
I
the
would
vibes.
challenge you to do something. Go listen to the
Yeah,
censored version. That was when I realized just
yeah,
how violent, because
it
I didn't
is.
even know I didn't even know it had a censored version. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, you
It
mean all
is.
these words they shouldn't be saying them?
Yes,
Oh, then you're
yes.
like, okay, this, yeah, it's yeah,
All I know when I shoot, I hit and go. Like he's saying that he
but
doesn't miss. He's
yeah,
running up on you, and and the fact that they were able to do that, they were able to trick people into enjoying that song.
yeah,
That was genius. That was genius. See, I like that. I like when it's not necessarily in your face. I get it that you're going to talk about some things, controversial things, but if I'm able to like, if the song itself, the melodies of the song is able to take me away where I need to go.
mm,
That's what makes a record so genius. And I think that's what he did with that, man. I think I think he's a raw talent. Um, I feel like even he could have gotten maybe two records in this top 10 list, but
mm.
he's still relatively new. But this song, no, I had to put it up there.
In my list, he had two, but
Top three.
okay. Don't
Okay.
matter of fact, I'll send him this clip. I'll see
Yeah.
what he says.
Um,
All right. So
number
now
one record.
number one record of
Yes.
2023. Go ahead.
Yes. Lonely at the top. Bang, 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 bang. Let's go. Let's go. Lonely at the top. Lonely at the top. And I put this record there because this record took us. It it transcends Afrobeat. This is just good music. I don't care
Mm,
who you are. Again, the only two records when I play in public that I want to wind down my window so that everyone can listen to, so that
mm,
people around me, I live in the United States, everyone can hear, actually enrich themselves with the culture of like of
yeah,
our
spreading the
homegrown
gospel.
music.
Mm,
Blood on the Dance Floor is number two. Number one is Lonely at the Top. Lonely at the Top. It's such a simple record. Such a such a simple record. I don't like it's hard to even feel on that record. If her had messed on that record, it would have been so disappointing. It's hard.
mm,
The record is already made. It's a bop. It's just a nice tune. It's very easygoing. It's it's commercial friendly. It's just and the theme of the song is just him talking about his wins and the fact that wow, I've been hustling so much. I find myself I'm up here, like out of nowhere. No one expected that from Ashake. No one. Someone that's rapping in Yoruba, that's giving you that's throwing you know idioms like Yoruba Owe, I forgot what they call it, but like proverbs, Yoruba proverbs. Like he throws Yoruba proverbs in his songs. He's like a Yoruba, like this is like conk Yoruba that can be. And in a lot of his records, he's always a lot of life lessons. Lonely at the Top was like the peak of that. I remember, he came out with I be on my way, and then Yoga, that Yoga record.
Right.
And that was another one of those records where he was acknowledging, like, man, like I've gotten to this new spot that I find myself in. And I felt like Lonely at the Top was like, for me, was like a follow for that. It was almost like he was finishing up the story.
Gotcha.
And he was talking about, in Yoga, he was talking about he's on my way. And Lonely at the Top, he has gotten there. He's doing spots on Jimmy Fallon. He's doing these venues. He's got concerts. I think he did the O2, didn't he?
He did. He did O2 before he did Barclays. Yeah.
Yeah, he did O2. So like it's almost like wow. And for me, it's I'm also biased because I mean you're about guy, man. And for me, this is like our guy. I've been saying that Ashake is the chosen one for a while. And I feel like Lonely at the Top. That's what this record did, man. I'm praying that they can have a rendition of this record on the Grammy that he performs, even if it's with her. I don't care, because if you hear the control version on YouTube of this record, oh man, the harmonies, he switches up the harmonies, and the way he sings this record on this control version. Same thing with Amapiano, but Lonely at the Top is even way more like it's so good to the ears, and it's just a feel good record. Like who better to give than someone that's just doing a feel good record? He's not necessarily running up on the ops. He's not necessarily being a fuckboy with city boys. It's just like I'm having a good time. I've reached these heights that I never thought I would reach. Money, like money's on my mind. I don't care about the haters. He's just in his own lane.
Gotcha.
And man, I'm happy for him, man. I'm happy for Ashake. If there's no one I'm happy for, it's Ashake. I mean, he has outdone all expectations on all levels.
Wow. Like I said, in the comments, leave your top 10 songs of 2023 if you agree with Corey's agree, disagree. And I'm going to run through them again real quick. Number 10, Amapiano. Number 9, Holy Ghost. Number 8, Big 7. Number 7, Charm. Number 6, Troublemaker. Number 5, Guagualada. Number 4, Feel. Number 3, City Boys. Number 2, Blood on the Dance Floor. And number 1, Lonely at the Top. So let me give you a list of the songs that didn't make your list. So like you already said, Unavailable didn't make it because you called it gimmicky.
Yeah.
Okay. Ojapiano, Casey. I think that one even caught more flack than Amapiano. Ashake.
That was a good record.
Ashiwaju, Ruger. I think that one even got caught up in the election stuff, but Who's Your Guy, the remix, Spyro and Tiwa Savage. I honestly, that was on my list. Now this song, so you kind of know, like how Back That Ass Up wasn't necessarily a radio hit, but there is no black party that will go by that song won't be played at. I feel like this song is equivalent to that, and that's Game Changer by Flavor. There's no event that has that's what I danced into at my wedding. Yeah. There's no event, whether you're Igbo, whether you're marrying someone Igbo. In fact, even if you are nobody there is Igbo, you're making an entrance, that Game Changer song. So I feel like that was like, and what it's I guess because it's exclusively Igbo, like some people, but no, that's a different one. No, this
isn't that Game Changer?
Now clear the road for who sabi ude. Come on, You don't.
Wait,
you-
wait. So which one is now? Who did? Now who did? Now who
That's
did?
levels.
Oh, that's levels. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I thought that was what
yeah.
you walked into in your wedding.
No, it was Game Changer. Game
Oh,
Changer. Yep.
hold
Yeah.
on. I
It's
need to play just to have a reminder of it. Game changer.
yeah. Or DK
Oh,
DIKE.
wait. Oh, okay.
Yeah, come
Yeah.
on. How's that? Come
Now,
on. How's that? Come on.
Yeah,
That
no, that was a good record. It came
yeah.
out last year because I thought it
No,
had
no,
come
it
out
came out.
about
No,
maybe.
it came out this year.
Okay, all right.
Came out either this year or like
That was a good record.
December
That
or
was a good
this
record.
yeah.
That
And
was
then
an anthem.
the
That was an
final one,
anthem.
and this was the Odumodu Black song that I thought you were going to mention, Declan Rice, because
Declan Rice. Yes.
when you consider just how far that song went, like
Yes.
I wouldn't even just say it went beyond our shores, like it went beyond music. It became
Yes.
like an anthem, and you can go listen to the previous episode I did with Odumodu where we were talking about just how organic everything came
Everything fell in
about.
place. Everything
And
fell in place.
yeah, man, because like there was just a lot going on, and I feel like that Declan Rice was honestly that was my number 2 song of the year. That was my number 2 song of the year.
I mean, yeah, I can look. There were a lot of Odumodu songs I could have made this list. I mean, MC Oluomo was a record. You know,
That's the
Declan
one where
Rice.
the controversy came out. Yeah.
There was controversy with it, but it was a good record. It was a good in terms
but
of
I don't
hip
think
hop.
it couldn't have been as big as Declan Rice. No,
Definitely not. Declan Rice. It was like the stars aligned with Declan Rice, literally.
Yeah.
For me personally, Blood on the Dance Floor.
Blood on the Dance Floor, yeah. Because it was but not just it was what chart topping, like number 1 song for 4 weeks.
Yes.
Like, bro, who do you think you are? Are you Drake? What is going on here,
dude? I'm like,
what is going on here?
And so I want to, bring down wind down my glasses, my winch, my sunroof. I want to just blast that shit out. Why you want to? Hey, cause like it makes you feel a little dangerous. Like don't F with me right now. But yeah, man. I mean, look, your list, like I said, could easily make those songs could easily make that top 10 list. But you know how these things are. They're somewhat subjective.
No, I got you. So
and what I did was I looked through my own playlist and all the stuff that I played throughout the year too.
Gotcha.
So I based it off of that too, and I also based it off some level of popularity, and also I looked at quality. I tried to like seek out songs that I thought were quality.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. So before we wrap this up, like I said, we like to do lists. So your artist power rankings for 2023, and let me give you a reminder of your top 5 from 2022.
Yeah.
So we can gauge if there's any shifts. So number 5 was Rema.
Yeah.
Number 4 was Thames.
Yeah.
Number 3 was Wizkid.
Yeah.
Number 2 was Ashake.
Yeah.
And number 1 was Burna.
Okay, that has changed.
Right. Okay, so now,
now?
Yeah. So you're number 5.
Me start from number 5.
Yeah,
okay, number 5.
The review has to be number 1. Yeah.
Okay, so number 5, I would say. Afrobeat, right? When you're talking about Afrobeat and Afrobeat artists,
yes,
I would probably go with Odumodu.
Oh wow! And they say
just because
they say I'm the they think I'm part of his marketing team. No, I'm just family.
Dude, okay. Before like we've been hating Odumodu for a while now. We've been, and look, we saw what he did with Declan. He broke the fourth wall, or whatever you call that thing. Like he kind of like just peeked into this entire industry. I always say Odumodu makes music for like Premier League fans that also listen to, and I'm telling you, that is a huge base. That is a huge base. I'm telling you that Declan Rice, what he did for him, it opened so many doors. So I think Odumodu is up there. I'll put him in the top 5. Number 4.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Number 4. I would put Whiskey. Whiskey always has to be in the conversation. He
Always,
always
just
has to.
by default.
Because he hasn't his last project didn't bring him down like that by that much. Maybe it may not have been as good as MLLE, but there were records on there, man, and he's still doing his thing. He's still selling out shows. He didn't. Let's be fair. He didn't pack Tottenham Stadium. Let's be frank, because he did Tottenham Stadium. We saw that he didn't pack the entire stadium, but he is such a staple. He is such a when you're such a legend that you have to have consistently like dropped duds for you to come out of that top 5. Like he still has so much of his like his glory like embedded in
like
all
there's still a lot of momentum for him.
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
He's not he's far from done. He was still nominated this year.
Okay.
He was, right? He wasn't
nominated. No, he wasn't nominated for any Grammys this year.
Are you sure? I thought he was nominated.
Positive. No Grammys this year.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, because he wasn't on Wakanda Forever, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair. But I'm not.
No, I get what you're saying. No.
He's
I get what
still
you're
up there, so I'll put him at number 4.
Okay.
Number 3, I would go with Ashake.
Okay.
So it might seem like he has dropped, but the truth of the matter is that everyone has raised the game.
So
everyone has raised the game.
Big person getting dropped out then.
Yeah. So people. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Number 2.
Rema. So by the fact that I know who your number 1 is,
I mean, Burna Boy now. Come on.
Yeah.
So Boy.
Even with this album, Davido still doesn't make your top 5 for the second year in a row. Hey,
shit!
This is your
list.
You
got me there. You got me there. So okay, how about this, right? Okay, to be fair, I would put Davido as number 5.
Okay, all right.
I'll put him as number 5.
Okay.
I think you could tell I'm biased with Odumodu because
of course
I like me. I like hip hop too. So Odumodu is like I want to see where this is going. This is like something different and exciting. This guy can harmonize, but he can rap, and he's got like layers, and then he gives us pidgin. This was the language of my youth, pidgin. And when he started using these slangs, I'm like, so you know what? I take that back. I would have to, you can't not have Davido in the top 5. I didn't think about that. Yeah. I didn't think about that. Yeah, you need him top 5. So Davido, Wizkid, Ashake. I think Ashake. In fact, Ashake is about Davido and Wizkid. That says a lot.
Right.
That says a lot. But I would still put Wizkid above Davido for sure.
Okay.
So Ashake, number 3. Rema, because he's the future of Afrobeats. He is.
No argument there.
He's the next wave. Like these rapping, singing dudes out here they can write a 16 and make melodies, and you're just like, yeah, you have too much talent. Like where are you going with this talent? Rema is that guy, and his exposure speaks for itself. He's big in India, he's big in Saudi Arabia. They F with him, and then Burna Boy, because he's been the most consistent, and he hasn't dropped. Right. I told them so has kept it even if you don't F with him. At the very least, it has kept him at that level he's at.
He's doing stadium tours now. Think about that. He did Citi Field here in the summer. Citi Field is a baseball stadium.
Across America. And keep in mind, right? His album didn't even do that well. The album did 26K. But it shows you that these album sales it's not the indicator. It's not the indicator anymore.
Nah.
Rappers cannot sell out this stadium. Yeah. American rappers have been here. They can't sell out the stadium. He's selling it out. He's been to DC twice now. The Capital One, I think Baltimore. Baltimore is one of the two. I think he's been at both. This guy is selling these places out.
Yeah, I don't think they're even going for, and this might be like a larger music conversation, but when it comes to like record sales, I think they're putting stuff out so that they can simply have material to go tour with. The sales is a byproduct. Like
it's just a byproduct.
Material for you guys to sing back at me when I come out on stage. That's what
Yeah.
it really is.
And that's where they're
So
making the money too. That's
yes,
where they're
absolutely. For
making
touring.
mad
Yep.
moolah.
Yeah.
So
And everyone is getting, yeah. So yeah, and I know I've held you for long. I even wanted to get into
yeah.
some like behind the scenes stuff with Odumodu because I know you said you're a big fan. Because I remember
Man.
last year episode was
Mhm.
when I played Picanto for you, and
Yes.
you're like, and he goes Latan, like, hey man, and it's just been up since then. I was actually in the studio with him when he did his verse for Bia, the one I was telling about
Oh,
Chati. I saw
yeah.
the entire process. It was
Really?
we can discuss this one offline. Don't worry. But yeah,
Okay.
there's a lot that goes into it, and yeah. So yeah, thanks for doing this. I
Yeah,
Before we go,
man.
I wanted to ask: do you have an artist that you want us to be on the lookout for in 2024?
I'm like I want to say Poppy, but I don't want to say Charlie Poppy because I feel like Charlie Poppy, he's in it. That one is a businessman. He's trying to make money. He already has his own
Hmm.
label. He has his artists on there. I'm like, you haven't even finished blowing yet. You have artists
Hey
with
man,
with you have labels on it. Um, whew, this is gonna be a tough one. Artists like new artists or maybe artists
no,
that
it doesn't even have to be a new artist. It just can be like the way Odumodu went from last year to this year. Like it can be a new
Okay,
artist. It can be the artist that will take a next step.
okay, artists that will take a next step. And by the way, on my top five artists, Omale and Odumudu will probably be 6 and 7, and
Okay,
those can be interchanged because Omale is right there, right there. Like
right,
he
right,
could make the top five in someone else's and it would be valid. So
right.
I want to make sure I give him an honorable mention.
Got you.
But top artists that might make it to the next level. This I there's only so much of this artist that me I can listen to just because of his
Hmm.
voice. Is Benson, and the reason why
Okay.
is because I've had this conversation with Wally, my co-host, and he's talked about how Benson he's kind of cultivating this rabid fan base,
Okay.
like this fan base that he's not like selling out like stadiums or anything, but his fans they work out for him hard, and that was kind of how Burna Boy was too before Ye. He always had his core base, and it's always good when you have that core base where they f with your music regardless. And Benson is one of those guys that I think he could probably make the next step.
Okay.
He's there, he's on the cusp, and he's taking it more seriously now. He had a lot of nice cuts on his new album. He's taking it a lot more seriously. Obviously, Odumodu Black is someone that I would keep watching out for. I'm just giving you a few. Odumodu Black,
Hmm.
Benson, that people I feel like could blow even more, and we could see more of them, and maybe they could be more on the world stage. Um, and the last person that I would go with, Black Bones.
Okay.
Black Bones has really impressed with his consistency. He's putting out. I'm not even that crazy about his music, but just the fact that like consistently this guy is you're consistent like that, you get good at it. You figure out the formula, and I think Black Bones is just a few equations away from that fully winning formula. He's
Okay.
big in Nigeria. He has his fan base. He has people
Okay.
that love him. He used social media very cleverly,
Yes,
and
certainly
he was
does.
able to gain a lot of traction with that. But I think he keeps fine tuning his sound. He's in that like singing rapper genre, and I think he's kind of coming up with the winning formula. He has this big song right now called EM Ego. People love
Mm.
it.
Yeah,
So I
with
think
Jerry.
that's yes, that was a song that Benson was supposed to be on that he took himself off of. Yeah,
Oh,
because he didn't want to do the three-headed monster.
he just
So
cost
I think
himself a hit.
that's big. That's a big tune. So I think that those are three people that I would definitely. I wouldn't name Omale because Omale has already entered that
Yeah,
stratosphere.
yeah, gotcha. Okay.
But artists that I think we need to just take a little bit more look at. Maybe They can start making that leap into that next conversation. Benson, Odu Black, and Black
Black.
Bones.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'll just toss in there Bloody Civilian. So
Bloody Civilian, yeah.
yeah, she's of that the voice texture type of like Fave and Ira Star and even Temps when an extent. She was also nominated for the Headies Next Rated, like the Rookie of the Year type award. That's the one that Odomodu won. So it's not like she's established, but she has her own, like, I don't want to say like Odomodu put her on. She had her stuff, like she had a bunch of songs already that.
Oh yeah, there was already hype behind her.
Yeah, and she produced a song on the Wakanda Forever soundtrack.
I saw that.
So I'm not sure if she gets a nomination, but she's definitely a contributor if that one wins.
For sure.
Yeah, because it was her song with Rema. So she had a song with Rema on the soundtrack, and she produced it.
Good point.
So
I think the reason why I would probably put these other three artists above her is because of they've built a catalog already.
Yeah, I think it's the opposite for me. It's because she hasn't built.
Built the catalog.
She's
going to make that next leap.
Yeah, I believe she's gonna
there's a lot of hype behind her, and she did her thing on the Lord on the Dance Floor. Like they added her, and she made it's like she kept the flame burning on that track. Like it was nice, man. It was nice, but I gotta get a hard stop here. My wife is waiting for me.
I got you.
We're supposed to go out to kick. Is it pickaxe? Kick-axe. Is this thing where we throw an axe?
Yeah, just be careful with that. All right, and thank you all for joining the Well Actually podcast. We're going to try and do this again soon. Thanks to Courageous of the Smiling Sufferer podcast. Go and check out his work. I'll put a link in the description. So thanks again, and we'll do this.
And
again.
I definitely have to link up with you to get some of that backstory.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, man. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on again, Corey. Right. Courageous. I go by many names, but yeah.
We'll link. Don't worry. We'll link. We'll link. I'll put all your names in the description. Don't worry.
All right, man. All right. It was nice catching up, bro.
All right.